Hi everyone, welcome to the ServicePRO New Employee Onboarding webinar. In this webinar, we will be taking a look at how ServicePRO can transform your onboarding process to be as organized and efficient as possible. We will be exploring project template organization for a new employee workflow, automations and after events in project templates, AD synchronization in ServicePRO, managing and updating user properties, and lastly, we will also be reviewing an automated approval workflow for effective transitioning of our new employee. So let's get started. We will start off by logging our new employee request through the self-service portal. The login page provides a unique and customized experience for each organization, and the page can also be personalized through adding a logo as well as any relevant company information. The right pane illustrates a login widget through which new users can sign up from this link down here, and existing users can sign in either using their Active Directory credentials or ServicePRO credentials. We will be logging in as user Bob Stevens. The layout of the dashboard is highly user-friendly. On the left pane, we have the options that are available to Bob, including the home page, a history of his logged requests, a messages platform for communication with the support reps, as well as the knowledge-based articles. A little bit to the right, we can take a look at all of the open requests grouped by urgency, as well as an opportunity for Bob to log a new request. The Service Catalog widget displays a list of all services that are provided by the help desk to the end users. As the manager, Bob Stevens will be logging a request for our new employee, Tom Levins. He has now been redirected to the form where he can fill out all of the necessary information. Bob can leave the title as it is because it will automatically correspond with what is typed into the first and last name custom fields once the request has been submitted. We'll also keep the urgency field as medium. The additional information section illustrates the custom form that will be filled out to retrieve more information on our new hire Tom. So let's get started. Let's just assume that Tom is a member of the accounting department. And that he will be starting exactly 1 week from now. In the requirements section, we have the opportunity to fill out even more details. Tom will be needing a laptop as well as an iPhone. He will also require all of the software listed in this form, so we can check those as well. The VPN and mobile device approval fields are currently pending and cannot be changed by Bob. Rather, they will be updated automatically when the IT and tech support managers submit their approval through email. The IT manager, Peter Adams, is in charge of the VPN approval, and our tech support manager, Dave Singh, has authority over the mobile device setup and approval. They will both be receiving an email once the request has been submitted. And now that we have filled out the necessary information, we can go ahead and write a short memo and then submit our request. As we can see, the recent updates widget has loaded and the title has changed automatically to reflect the new employee's name. We will now be logging into ServicePRO to review the home page as well as our new project request. We are currently logged in as one of the support reps, Danny Ocean. We can start by looking at Danny's workspace. This allows him to view at a quick glance all of the requests that have been assigned to him. Here we can see the list of requests, including our new project request, along with the columns of further details. Messages allow Danny to view his communication with other support reps when collaborating on tickets. The email widget allows Danny to review and respond to all of his emails with just one click. If he's using Outlook or Gmail, all of his information can be imported from these systems into ServicePRO. Here we can view a custom report that illustrates all of the open requests in the system grouped by their priority levels. The next widget displays a chart in which all requests are grouped by different form types. The information in all of these charts will automatically be updated to reflect any new requests and information within the system. The last chart displays a bar graph showing us the average time that it takes for these support reps to close their assigned tickets, with both name and handle time being illustrated. We can now search for our project request and review our workflow for new employee onboarding. Now, we can view the new employee parent request along with all of the preceding child tasks on the left pane. The project will be following a specific order and all of the child tasks have not yet been launched. This is because I have set up specific automations and after events, which will be demonstrated as we work through the process. We can start off by reviewing our parent request properties. We can see that the request has been assigned to the new employee onboarding queue as well as the new hire category. It also has the new employee custom form type attached. We can now view all of the information that Bob filled out for our new hire Tom from the end user portal. The mobile device and VPN approval fields are still pending since Peter Adams and Dave Singh have not yet responded with their approval. The internal field in the form can only be reviewed and edited by a licensed user, and it's necessary for setting up our new employee in Active Directory. We will be filling this form out from our first child task, Create AD Account, so we can now go in and fill out the necessary information. It's important to note that once this AD account gets created, the next time a sync takes place into ServicePRO, our new employee, along with all of his information, will automatically get updated within the ServicePRO database. Now that we're done with setting up Tom's account, we can save this information and close out of the request. These actions will trigger an email to be sent out to Tom, informing him of some very important details. But before we take a look, let's just assume that the scheduled AD sync into ServicePRO has just taken place. We will now be going into user properties to review the information that has been automatically imported into ServicePRO. Through reviewing the user properties, we can see that important details such as Tom's OU, phone number, and even his email have been transferred over. We can also see in the Custom Fields tab that his AD login name has also been updated. Now we can view the email that was sent out to Tom through the business rules. We can see that the system help desk is informing Tom of his new AD username, as well as his temporary password that was just set up within the project request. He can now successfully log in, and we can move on to reviewing the next steps in the new employee onboarding workflow. After refreshing the page, we can see that the setup email and VPN access child tasks have been triggered. We are now seeing after events in action. Essentially, we set up the option that these tasks cannot be created unless the AD account request has been closed out. As we just saw in user properties, Tom's email has already been set up, so we can go ahead and close this request out as well. The next step in our process is setting up VPN access for Tom. So we can now review the email that was sent to our IT manager, Peter Adams, earlier on so that he can submit his approval for this request. Let's take a look. Here we can see the email from the system help desk informing Peter of the employee name, the request number, as well as his department. It is also stated that Tom Levins will be needing access to the VPN. So we can go ahead and respond now with his approval. Upon refreshing, we can see that the activity stream has updated to reflect Peter's response, and the business rule has changed our VPN approval field within the custom form from pending to approved. Let's take a look. We can now go ahead and close out of this request. Now we will be reviewing the asset tasks. Since Bob chose the laptop in the custom forms, we can see that Setup Laptop Request has appeared in the project template. We have also associated 3 child tasks to this parent request, all of which are dependent on the responses chosen within the custom form. Since Bob had chosen to install all of the software on Tom's laptop, they have all appeared below as child tasks. Now let's just assume that all of the tasks have been fulfilled and Tom's laptop has been successfully set up. We can now go ahead and close out of this request. Since we are closing out the parent request, a message has appeared informing us that the child tasks will be closed as well. We can now go ahead, refresh the page, and view the Setup iPhone request. This request is consistent with what we chose in the mobile device field within the custom form. Similarly to VPN approval, we can now go in and review the email that was sent to our technical support manager, Dave Singh. He can then submit the approval for the iPhone as well as its setup. Upon submitting the approval, we can see once again that the field within the custom form has changed from pending to approved. Let's take a look. This concludes our automated approval workflow, and we can now go ahead and close out of this request. Our final task in this onboarding process is to add Tom to our payroll. Since Danny is not a part of the payroll team, he does not have the sufficient privileges within the system to view and make changes to this request. This task will only be taken care of by the Human Resources Department. And that's all for our new employee onboarding workflow. All of these tasks will ensure a smooth transition for Tom into both the organization as well as his new team. This concludes our webinar. Thank you so much for tuning in. As a quick recap, we went over project request organization, automations and after events, Active Directory synchronization in ServicePRO, managing user properties, as well as an automated VPN and mobile device approval workflow.